Okay, everybody, welcome back for another episode of the No Suit Survival series. Where we left off last time, we had just built a nice big missile rotor turret that is a little bit janky, and I'm not exactly sure how to stop that from being so wobbly. Maybe I'll get a comment on it, and someone knows a little bit more about them that can help me with that. I feel like it has to do with the convergence angle, and maybe it's trying to calculate past a certain point and it's just sort of going backwards and forwards and being all crazy like that. Now I need quite a large amount of space to build this. Will it fit? I should try and probably keep it to the size of the shuttle that I'm talking about now. I should try and keep the shuttle to the size of one of these bays. So maybe we'll work on it in perhaps this area. So that means I'll need a new conveyor line. So maybe I've been meaning to build some conveyor lines around here anyway. So maybe I'll just build a conveyor line around the outside perimeter of this sort of area, and then I can work from that. So this here is going to be very interesting to switch over to. How can I could use the top of it as an attachment point. That's an idea. Local grid, so we use this as an attachment point. That means we can chop this off in theory. Yep. And then we can change this to a junction. And we can build a nice little pathway all around the outside. So what we'll do is, just for the sake of simplicity, is we'll just go around. And now, do I want to... I'm thinking of where I want to build the walls for like the hangar and whatnot. I think I want to do it on this bit of concrete. So this armor block line is where the wall will meet the floor. So in theory, I'll have some sort of shape, perhaps probably using these slopes, and it'll come down to something like maybe this. And this will be like the shape that we go with around the exterior. So that means that the piping needs to be behind that. So if I just, like, for example, do that. So that means I need to actually grab out my drill and get a little bit of a path behind here. Okay, so where is the center of this? Now that that is set up, so go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be the center. 5, yes, okay, so that's the center, so we can go back to concrete. Fill those back in. So that is our center. And then that one needs to be battered. There you go. So we're going to work from that. Now, I did bring with me a little interior light, so you can see what we're doing. So let's boot that up. Yeah, give it a bit of an offset. And turn the intensity down. Perfect. Now it'll be nice and lit up from underneath. That means the top of it will be all shadowy, won't it? Whatever. So we need a landing gear to start this, as with everything. So we're going to plonk a landing gear down. Now, this thing's going to be quite long, so... Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah, safe zones. Gotcha, okay. We're going to have to build it off of a hinge. So let's grab one of these. Actually, I'm probably gonna need the hustle down here anyway to help me weld things up, so let me grab control of this and just bring it down. I love the safe zones. It means I can just fly it as recklessly as I want. Doesn't matter if I bang into things. I can even, like, run into myself. Okay, so we've got the hustle down here. Bring it over here. And give it a little connector port over in here. The hustle. Actually, let's figure out where the center of this one is as well. That should be lined up with round about there. Nope. That one. Yeah. That's the center. So we'll replace this with a connector. I think. Oh no, this one's different, isn't it? This one's not square, it's slightly rectangular. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that way, and then 1, 2, 3 that way, 1, 2, 3 that way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. It's centered-ish anyway. So let me go and grab my drill. Come on. Yes, perfect. It's enough. Okay, get me out of this hole. There we are. Okay, and we can just decorate this with a little bit of a line of armor. That is going to be our wall. That's a connector point for the hustle. Turn that strength down to nothing. Okay, so we can pull out parts like that. So, we don't need to pipe this up because it's not going to be filled with hydrogen. It's going to be filled with uranium and power. So, should be fine. We need. Do I want to build it here? No, actually, what I'm gonna do it like the other one and have it as a big long line that ends up there. So we'll grab a hinge. We'll put it on here and get rid of that part. Add a small head. Get bits for that. Okay, so now we're in small grid again. And we can bring it all the way over now. Let me lock this before it falls off. We can bring that down a little bit so I can access it. So the first block the first thing I need to do, I'm gonna get like a corner full of junk over there in a bit, once I stop dropping all these blocks off. Okay, so that's tons of room to work with, so that'll probably be like the front of our vehicle. So I actually need to be fairly careful of that, so I'm gonna give myself plenty of space. This is gonna be like the very rear of the ship, like the furthest away part of it. Okay, so we can actually drop off all the stuff that I'm not needing to use. Don't need that. Get rid of some of these. And some of them, wow. I'm gonna need a lot of these for armor anyway. Okay, so this design is going to be a little bit different from my other ones. Normally I would start with all the components and then do armor and stuff around that. However, this design is very weird in that it's gonna have a nice fancy door. That folds up and down at the back. So it's going to have a pressurized compartment in the front with the cockpit, and it's going to have a pressurized compartment at the rear where you can have a passenger seat, and you can hop out and walk around. So to do that, we need a double hinge design, and I'm going to just redo that because I remembered you need to have them powered. They need to be powered so that they don't drop down like that. I just need to remember if it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter what the first hinge is on because I'm thinking of thinking ahead to how this is going to be made airtight. essentially. And to do it properly, this hinge that I'm building here has a panel, so we've got like this is the interior cabin basically. Actually, I can bring this whole thing down now that I think about it, because the hinge is the lowest part. And I don't need to do... Actually, no, I can walk under it here. So this is the lowest part, and I can walk under it. So that should be good. That lets me work on it. I could always just raise it up a little bit with the hinge. Or I could even lower it down with the hinge. So yeah, whatever, I'll leave it as it is. Yeah, so this part is the lowest bit of the ship with the door. So everything we work off is on there, and then that has a panel that goes across on top of this one, making it airtight. And then this one has a slope block on top of it, making it airtight. So you'll see what I mean with the design in a second. So I took quite a while to fiddle around with this. Now the reason you need to use 2 hinges here is because it needs to have 2 degrees of separation for subgrids to make a merge block create an airtight room. If you just do like 1 hinge and then a door that hits a merge block, like if you imagine a merge block up here that clicks in, that will not be airtight. It needs to be in this sort of arrangement. People in the past would just use like a piston and a rotor, although you could use the small merge block, but the small grid merge block, which is a 3x3, but now we have the new small merge block, which is this one. So that's the one that we're going to be using today. So this is the bottom part of our door, and that can be made out of a slope shape like this. So that whole thing rolls underneath the body, giving us our hinge point for the door. So I actually had a picture of a design here I took on my phone when I was fiddling with it. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I want to work on. So for the design I had in mind, I actually went with 1 slope here, and then I had some little corner slope bits that go like this. I'm going to probably need to weld up a lot of stuff as I go, because I want to be able to test if I'm making it airtight or not, and just having a whole bunch of unwelded scaffoldy stuff isn't going to be good enough. Now, did I make a slope out of that? Which one is this? This is just a block. Oh, that's a bit too close anyway. I need to go over a little bit so I've got a bit of room to work with. That should be enough. And then I can like hop onto it. Yeah, okay, so once we're back behind the hinge here, this doesn't matter. So this can be as like filled in as I want for the time being. Yeah. Although it's not going to be as wide as this at the back. I think it'd probably be just 2 blocks on either instead of 3. Yeah. Okay. So there's that. So we have the block that is all resting on, and then that needs to fold down into a thing. Okay, so that means we have around here, this has got a block and a block, and then this is sloped. So this needs to be sloped so that one, it can rotate around, and it needs to be done like this so that when I merge it, it doesn't attach to the body. And these can all be shear inertia tensors, because dang, that is like wriggling up a storm, man. And that one can be locked. That one actually doesn't move at all. It's only the one on the end that actually moves.
Energy low.
Get some power. And actually I can, while I'm doing it, I can just hop in the hustle. And that can help me place some of the blocks here, because I need to have a little bit of vertical access here. Alright, so the rest of the door design. So we need to go into our menu here, grab out our blocks. So this comes up like this. So there's 3 blocks high on here. This is all just like a size that I found is quite comfortable. I believe it goes 1 more, and then that's where the merge block happens. So then this is nice, just regular blocks in here. And we can grab out our welder, turn that on and just weld all of these up. Sweet. Oh, not that one. Okay, so that is that there. So then this all comes up to a this is where my if you've got a keen eye, you might be able to spot the design that I'm sort of inspired by if you're looking at this one carefully. So what I might do is, I wonder if I can I do mirroring from in here? I can. Sweet. So I'm gonna get actually my survival mirror out so that I'm not making any mistakes, because this needs to be perfectly symmetrical just for the whole thing to even work. So we need a block in there. It goes 1 block up, and then that is where the door meets, and then here is the fun bit where we add in some ion thrusters. So these are the main ion thrusters that are going to be what we use to escape the planet. They go in like that. So it needs to be placed there, and that one needs to be placed. Might as well go into the large one. There we go. This one goes like that. So, hold on, let me just check these. It needs to be placed so that it's like that one there. Pretty sure. Because those first 2 blocks have attachment points, and that means that they're airtight. Well, it doesn't mean that a block is necessarily airtight if it has attachment points, but with the ion thrusters it's really important. So let's go with our ion thrusters. We're going to be using a few of these in this design, so we'll pop that out here. Okay, so I need to get onto here. I can just hop on from this scaffold. Work on it in here. So that one should be like that. So here we go. We have, yeah, these 2 blocks like that. So because these are the only 2 blocks that have attachment points, this wall coming up to the rest of the thruster isn't going to cause it to merge to the thruster, but it will make it airtight. If I put the thrusters 1 block back, so 1 block back that way, they would attach to the sides of these blocks. Although technically they wouldn't attach to these corners specifically, but if these were square blocks they would. Conversely, that's why I can't put these thrusters 1 block forward this way, because the air will leak out of the corner here. So that is why these need to be in this orientation specifically. So we can get these welded up. We'll just make sure that they're not on. We don't need that doing any thrusting or dampening or anything like that. I'm going to weld up some of this armor so I can see what I'm working with. Okay, so that all is good. That's not going to cause any attachments to happen. Yes, that's right. So then in my other design, yeah, I had everything the same except I had some slopes here. So slope there and slope there. And that is more or less the back bit here done. So that folds down, that should work. So now we just need to work on the upper bit where this attaches. Okay, so we had a block on top. So it goes block, 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 and then the merge block. So we have one block there, then two, and then that, and then this one here is where we put the merge. And that goes inward like that, and then that attaches to the interior of the ship. So there'll be another merge block there, attached to that. So then, to make sure that this all works, I'm actually going to grab out these merge blocks and I'll make sure that it works as intended. So let's grab out two of these, and we have the blocks that we can build around with. So that one is good to go, and then we need to have a little bit of a scaffold round. We can just work off the back of these thrusters. Let's put a block there. We got our mirror on. There we are, and up. Place in. Okay, and then that one comes in. Now, did I have it like that? I believe I used a half block or something instead. So it needs to not attach to anywhere else. Let me just turn off the mirror for the time being. Actually, I need to put a button on here and a timer so that I can get everything working. So let's go and grab that. So we need a button and a timer. Set that up. Now we need to give some of these things names. We want this one to be the one, the merge block on board the main ship is the one that we want to have unlocked. So what we need to do is we need to get the hint. Oh wow, that is going to be really confusing. I've got the whole grid's terminals. Yeah, whatever. Should be manageable. So this is our shuttle door hinge, because the other hinge doesn't matter, so that one stays like that. We can bring this down. Oops. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, that is the maximum we want it at. I'm going to give it a upper limit. Let's see now, what's its upper limit going to be? Its upper limit is going to be 0 degrees by the looks of it. So turn that down to 0. So it's up just nice and flat. Shouldn't. Oh, whoops. The lower limit needs to be 0. Upper limit can be up to 90. So it goes nice and flat with the ground. Here we are. So in theory, when we land our ship, we'll be able to hop on here. We'll have a button on the inside here, and then that can fold in. And we just need to do a little bit of a hop to get in. I wonder if... See, if I put any like blocks on here to make it like a little bit of a... have a slope or something, it makes it really hard to make it not merge. Because if this one folds in, it will merge like that. What I could do... no, you'd kind of stub your toe. I was thinking I could do like a... put one like this. No, that wouldn't work either. What about... No, anyway, that one doesn't work. It's not super straightforward, so whatever. We'll just leave it as is. So, timer. This is going to be our shuttle door control. Yeah. Now, do we need a... We don't need another timer. No, we don't need another timer like constantly turning this merge block on. So we can set this button up to trigger the timer of the door. So trigger now. Door timer. We're going to have that silent. Setup actions. This is going to cause our door hinge to reverse. And it's going to cause the merge block to turn on and off. So should be able to hit that and it'll go up and down. We want to increase that velocity though. Let's make that nice and fast. So it goes up and down, nice and quick. We should give it a little bit of a braking torque, I think. Whoops, I've just turned off its torque. And that is far too much, right? Let's go hinge door. Yeah, that's like way too strong. Let's go to that and there. So that should be able to run nice and smoothly. Excellent. And we can even add a lock to it, can't we? We can make the hinge lock. That's something I didn't consider in my other design, so go into our timer, setup actions. That is going to get our door hinge. That's going to turn its lock on off. So when it's in this upper position, we want it to be locked. Then when it turns off, it should turn off and then unlock. Okay, so how... Did I do that wrong? Door hinge, are you unlocked or are you locked? You're locked. It needs to be locked in this position, so... Oh no, because it's, yeah, it's going to be weird, so that's why I didn't put it in there. It's going to lock and unlock in a way that we don't want, so we'll take that off. We don't need that. I didn't need it anyway because it locks it on the merge block. So we can just put the merge block on that one that we've welded up. Okay, so this is where our other merge block goes. And this is a door merge block. So this is the shuttle door merge block. In this position it will be unlocked, so it will be off, and then we'll turn it on with the timer. That is going to go with our door merge toggle block on off. So this should go up and then lock. Yep, and then it should come down and unlock. And that the whole thing is just wiggling because subgrids on top of this. This is going to be interesting to place. There we go. And then this one here had a slope like that. So we can get these welded up. We should at least be able to. Where is that welding box? I need to get rid of that one. Chop off that, and it'll do it. Get these welded up. That one and that one. There we go, so that should be all done. So that should be unlocked. Then why is the rotor not going down? It's not locked. It's always share inertia tensor, isn't it? There we go. So if we do lock this, Yeah, there we go. Nice. Oh. Isn't that weird? Goes down perfectly fine. Coming up is just janky as hell. Plonk that on here somewhere. Doesn't really matter where. And then we just need to have some blocks all around it to make it nice and airtight. That side, and that should be... I don't think it is airtight when it's open like that, so I'm just going to put some blocks here. That'll make it airtight. So then this closes. This internal shape here can be whatever we want, so I'm just going to go with some square blocks for now. I'm going to have like a canopy of thrusters built on the inside like I have on the Salamander, because it's just going to look cool if I have two main exterior thrusters. Don't need a crazy amount of ions to fly through space. And I don't need too many atmos because this thing isn't going to be all that heavy. So that's that, and then we just need a place for our button panel and our control panel. So got our control panel, button, let's put here, and then we need to dig out a hole for our air vent. So where did we put those? That's there. Air vent. It's going to be placed like that. And we need one on the outside. That one is set to depressurize. So that'll pull in air. And this one is just set to neutral. So. Missing parts for it apparently. I'm pretty sure I pulled out 2 air vents though. I'm out of steel plate, yeah, so I've been placing too many blocks, that would be why. Okay, so let's get a light in here. So turn the intensity down. Give us a bit of a radius. Oh, and this one takes ages to get up to its like full size, doesn't it? With my scroll wheel. Move the offset a little bit. It's a little bit more central, there we go. So that's nice and illuminated. This is going to be the same as the exterior button, it's just going to run the door control. Trigger now. That comes up like that. Okay. So to make this airtight, we need blocks in these 2 spaces here. So 2 spaces on that. So let's hop up on here. Cool. Alright. Now, I had an idea for how I wanted to do this, because this is actually a pretty tricky shape to make airtight. What I did is I used... I think I'm totally out of steel plates, so I need to go and grab some. I used the bit of a wonky shape, this one here. This is what I used to make that so that this merge block doesn't attach to anything on here. It needs to sort of, like, if I put a, say, one of these on here to make it sort of match up to the rest of the ship, I need to make sure I use a block that is 1, airtight and squarish, and 2, is not going to attach to this. But the top of this ship here is going to be mostly flat from the design I have in mind, so what I'm going to use is the block here. Now this one needs to be in a very specific setup. It needs to be oriented that way. And let me grab out my mirror so I can place them on exactly. So that one should be right, and that one should be right. So now, no matter what block I like put here, it's not gonna attach to that merge block. And then I can put just a regular old flat armor block or anything else that is also an armor block. So that would count as like a spot for a small ion thruster or whatever, because they have a square base anyway, or cube base. And then that one doesn't attach, so we can put something on there to decorate it and make it look a little bit nicer. So probably we'll just go with going with a slope on either side here, and then a block and a block. So that's the shape of the door, more or less, although I can make it pretty. So yeah, as you see, it locks in place eventually. I think the problem there is one of these is on, yeah, one of these is on shear inertia. It's a lot less wobbly when it's all just by itself. It's because it's on this grid here that makes it really janky. See there, it hooks in nicely. It goes up and down relatively well. So when we're in here, you see, this is airtight. Status pressurized, O2 is high, and we're warm, so if I open this it'll go cold again, freeze, close that, and we are warm. So that is how our little door is going to work. Now I did have a way of making this nice and pretty, and that was using small cargo containers, because these are actually really quite cool when you use just the back of them. They don't store anything, so I'm just using them for their visuals. So we go with like one here, and then we weld these up. And then this block is an armor block, so that can be anything else. I believe I put an LCD on it when I was testing it, just like have a door exit or whatever. But yeah, that can be just, again, it can just be any other square block. So I don't know if I'm going to do cargo blocks all the way up, although maybe I will. It does look quite nice. Well, I would like it to be a little bit, have some difference. Now you can technically see out into the vacuum of space there. So one thing I found is that these lights here don't have a side attachment point. So what I can do is I can place them like that. Although maybe I want to use the spotlight. I'll go like spotlights on the top and offset lights on the bottom. Then we can weld these up. And they're not attachment points, so this won't lock on. So we need the parts for that and that. Let's go and grab these. And that just neatly closes up that little visual hole. It is airtight, but you can see through it, and that doesn't make it sound airtight to me. So I can just add these. Maybe even what I can do is I can turn them off, and then I can give them like a color, and that way they can act as like a little colorful bulby type sort of look, or you know, like if I make these just like a blue light, for example, we turn the red all the way down and we turn the green all the way down, it should take on this sort of bluish look, yeah, as you can see there. So we can use that to act as a bit of like a, almost like a, like I have the power lines in my other ship. Okay, so that is that back section done. So this door and everything else is completely modular, but I want to keep this more or less as it is because that'll be airtight and still able to function. Maybe in here. So if I put a connector in here, we can have a control seat on either side. So the connector would be like right up at the front, And then the cockpit would be bisected by the oxygen tank and the cargo container. So it'd be something like that. Let me build these up. So we need 3 blocks. 3 by 3, and then that is where we put our connector. It goes down like that. Yeah. That is tolerable. The other option is I could put it up one higher. That makes it even more flush at the bottom. Maybe we could in theory magnetize it. Although anything that we dock to would have to be really specific. No, we'll leave it as this, I'm pretty sure. So then we need to get our cargo container. So we're gonna have one medium, and then we're gonna have an oxygen tank. We can either have that come up here, although if I have my control seat in here, we won't be able to see through that cargo container. Ugh, the struggles. Where do I put my cargo container? I want to have a nice viewing port from the cockpit. Wouldn't be, if I was in the right-hand cockpit, I wouldn't be able to see out the left. So if we get our control seats out, let's just grab the control seat. Here we go. Done with the merge blocks. So I think we're going to use the rover cockpit. So that one is 2 blocks wide, which would fit in nicely here. So I grab these out. What is our sort of viewing angle going to be like, I wonder? So we need that one and that one. I'm pretty sure these are all airtight, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so we can hit our button here, open the door, hop in, close the door. So this cabin will be quite big actually, won't it? I just wonder about putting the cockpit, not the cockpit, but the wonder about putting the cargo container and the oxygen tank just on either side. Like if the connector has to be there, doesn't it? Do I need to worry about the large ports? That is the big question. If I don't worry about the large ports, that means that the ship won't be able to move around components unless I manually do it. Which isn't the end of the world. So like, for example, if we get rid of this medium cargo container, I could just pipe off of the back of this, or off the front. I can have that go into my oxygen supply. I have like a tank over here, survival kit over here, medium cargo containers like here and here maybe, and that runs back, pipes into there, and then we can have a bunch of vents pressurizing this interior room. I mean, this is quite big. Maybe I want to make it a bit smaller. I wonder if I can make it. I can make it even more angular than that, can't I? Grind all of that back. Yeah. So then we can fill that one in. I should have been using my mirror for this. It's a little bit more like it. That's nice and angular. Or will be nice and angular once it's not all just flat square blocks. Just get some power in here. Okay, so yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll just pipe off the back of that. We'll have a survival kit there, oxygen tank there, maybe a medium cargo container on each one, but they'll only be able to carry stuff that can fit through small ports. So I'm pretty sure that's like all of the ore. Some components, not all components. It can do ore and ingots. Ores and ingots are the main thing that I'm going to be transporting anyway. I'm not going to be doing components with this. I'd need a bigger ship for that, like my rocket or anything. This is mostly just to get me to stations or get around to places in space. So yeah, I think that's going to be fine. Okay, so thank you everyone for tuning in this week. Let me know if you are enjoying the 2 episodes per week cycle, or if you would rather I go back to doing 1 episode where I get a lot more done. I don't particularly mind. I get the same amount of time recording done either way. It's just basically how you viewers want to have the content paced. Paced as in like timing based, not paste as in like copy and paste. Yeah. So let me know what you think. If you like it, I'll keep it up. If not, whatever, I won't. But yeah. So until next week, I'll see you later, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.